business was, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was studying business in college and never done a school play or anything.
He used to be the most admired man in America. That voice, that mustache, that charm. But what happened to Tom Selleck after the cameras stopped rolling might just break your heart. For decades, he was Hollywood's symbol of confidence. The detective in the Ferrari. The man's man who somehow made decency look cool. But behind the image, Tom Selleck was quietly losing everything he'd built. His health, his fortune, and almost his peace of mind. By 2025, he sat down on live TV and said something that stunned everyone. "I don't know if I can afford to keep my ranch." People couldn't believe it. Tom Selleck, worth millions, one of the most consistent stars of the last 50 years, broke? But the truth, like his life, was far more complicated. Tom Selleck was born on January 29, 1945, in Detroit, Michigan. His father, Robert, was a World War II veteran and a real estate investor. His mother, Martha, was a homemaker who kept the family grounded. In 1948, when Tom was just 3, his father moved the whole family to California. He took a commission-only job in Los Angeles. No paycheck, no guarantee. It was a massive risk. They settled in Sherman Oaks when it was still mostly farmland. Money was tight. There were days when they didn't know if they'd make rent. Tom's father worked 12-hour days, but he always believed California was where their future lay. And he was right. By 1960, he was earning the equivalent of a small fortune. Tom grew up tall, awkward, and unsure. By high school, he was already 6'4". He felt out of place, like he didn't belong anywhere. But sports gave him focus. He played basketball, baseball, anything that made sense of his size. That discipline, that quiet work ethic, it never left him. Then, when he was 17, came the accident that changed everything. He and 2 friends were speeding down Mulholland Drive in his mother's red Chevy Corvair. The car lost control, went airborne, and crashed. They somehow survived. That moment would haunt him for decades. He wrote about it years later in his memoir, saying it made him see life differently. That from then on, every choice had to mean something. Tom worked his way through high school and college. He took a job at a clothing store to help his family. He even represented United Airlines on campus. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He was just another hard-working California kid trying to figure life out. He dreamed of USC, but he couldn't afford it. So he went to Valley Junior College first, saving every dollar. In 1965, he finally made it to USC. Played basketball for a year, barely scored. But that wasn't his real passion. He started acting classes almost by accident. His fraternity brothers signed him up for the dating game as a joke. He lost twice, but a casting agent saw something in that tall, humble kid and offered him a Pepsi commercial. That one ad paid him $1,000, enough to change everything. In 1967, he signed with 20th Century Fox. For a moment, it looked like the dream had arrived. Then the draft letter came. Vietnam was calling. Instead of Hollywood, Tom joined the California National Guard's 160th Infantry. He served for 6 years, rising to sergeant and later lieutenant. He never saw combat, but he saw pain, and when he came back, Fox had dropped him. He returned to LA with nothing. No contracts, no connections, just a uniform in his trunk and a dream that still burned. He trained under the demanding acting coach Milton Katsilas, a man who broke egos for a living. Some called him abusive, others called him a genius. Tom called him necessary. He learned discipline all over again. A different kind of battlefield. He modeled for cigarette ads, did commercials, small guest roles. It was humiliating sometimes. He was even fired from shows for being too tall. Producers said he made everyone else look short, but he kept going. For over a decade, he hustled, waiting for that one break. It didn't come until Magnum PI. First, he didn't even want it. The script was corny, over the top, filled with gadgets and cliches. He told the producers, "I don't want to play what I look like." They listened. They rewrote the entire thing around his personality. Witty, kind, thoughtful, still strong but human. And just like that, Tom Selleck became a star. From 1980 to 1988, Magnum PI was a global hit. He became the face of charm, masculinity, and quiet intelligence. 50 million people watched the finale, but fame came at a cost. In 1980, a helicopter crash on set killed camera operator Robert Vanderkar. It happened during a routine ocean scene. Tom was devastated. He clashed with Universal over safety, demanding new standards for every future production. His insistence led to industry-wide safety reforms. Then came the heartbreak of what might have been. Spielberg and Lucas had chosen him, Tom Selleck, to play Indiana Jones. He nailed the audition. They wanted him, but CBS wouldn't release him for Magnum PI. The show was under contract, and by the time a strike paused filming, it was too late. Harrison Ford took the role. The rest is history. Tom later said, "I don't see myself as a victim, but I wasn't happy about it. That one missed opportunity could have made him $100 million richer." Still, he kept working. 3 Men and a Baby became a blockbuster in 1987. But behind the laughter, his personal life was falling apart. His first marriage to Jacqueline Ray, a model who stood by him when he was broke, ended after more than a decade. Fame had changed him, and she couldn't take the distance. That same year, he married Gilly Mack, a British dancer he'd fallen for years earlier while watching her perform in Cats. They married under fake names at Lake Tahoe, Tom Jenkins and Susie Mark. Even the minister didn't know who they were until the ceremony started. They forgot the marriage license and had to send someone racing to Reno to fix it. It was messy, secretive, and somehow very human. In 1988, their daughter Hannah was born on Tom's avocado ranch in Ventura County. That ranch became his refuge. 63 acres of peace, animals, and family. He said it was his way of staying sane. But running it nearly ruined him. In 2015, during California's worst drought, the local water district accused him of stealing 1.4 million gallons from a public hydrant to keep his crops alive. It became national news. Magnum PI busted for water theft. He paid over $20,000 to settle the case and stop the tanker deliveries. It embarrassed him deeply. Then came the losses he couldn't control. Droughts killed nearly all his avocado trees. Even 100-year-old oaks died on the land he loved most. He said it broke his heart to see them go. His son, Kevin, struggled too. Addiction, debt, bad decisions. Tom tried everything: rehab, money, forgiveness, but it took years for Kevin to recover. In 2020, the pandemic forced him to pause Blue Bloods, the show that had defined his later career. He was 75. The downtime hit him hard. He stopped moving, stopped exercising, and the pain came rushing in. Arthritis, knee injuries, and depression. By 2024, he'd had both knees replaced. The scars ran down his legs. He couldn't walk without help. Prednisone, painkillers, and stress made him gain over 100 pounds. At 6'4", he now weighed close to 350. His friends said he was eating fast food in secret, hiding burger bags so his wife wouldn't see. Gilly never left his side, but the years wore her down too. The man who once rode horses across his ranch now used a truck to get around. The man who once ran miles now struggled to stand for long takes. Still, he kept showing up. Blue Bloods ended in 2024 after 14 years. Tom begged CBS to keep it alive. He even offered a 25% pay cut for the cast. But they said no. He lost his job and maybe a piece of himself. When he released his memoir, You Never Know, fans finally saw the truth. The car crash, the failures, the regrets, the lost roles, the lost people. It became a bestseller. And yet, there was something almost tragic about it. A goodbye hidden between the lines. Now, in 2025, Tom Selleck lives quietly on that ranch. The avocado trees are gone. The water's scarce. The land that once made him feel free now feels like a burden. He said, "I'm set for life." Maybe not on a 63-acre ranch. He's still married, still gentle, still trying. But the man who once stood 6'4" in the sun now sits more than he walks. He looks tired, heavier, older than his years. The mustache is still there, the eyes still kind. But the weight of everything he's carried, the fame, the failures, the loss, it's all there too. And yet, when you see him speak, there's no bitterness. He smiles and says, "I've been lucky. I've done what I loved." Not everyone gets that. Maybe that's the real story of Tom Selleck. Not the water scandals or the Hollywood regrets, but the quiet strength of a man who refused to give up, even when everything around him did. He's not the invincible magnum anymore. He's something better, a survivor. And maybe, just maybe, that's how he deserves to be remembered.